All right, folks, I don't know if I'm online, but I hate to have these long pauses here. So once again, if somebody could put in the comments and say, hey, we can hear you and stuff, just so we don't know it's all going fine. One of the benefits of recording videos and doing reviews is that it's easy to go back and check and fix things. When you're doing things live, you hope your microphone works, you hope that the audio, that the video works. So looks like YouTube has changed its settings again. So I don't even know if anyone's even watching this. I see that there's a couple people who are put some comments in the video. And for me, the screen still says, please stand by, starting soon. But what I've asked folks to do is to go to @TheDiceTower on Twitter and send me comments there. So if you have any comments or questions, just send them to @TheDiceTower on Twitter. And I already had some people send some to me, so I'm going to get started with some of these questions. And maybe by the time I'm done with those, I'll find out if my sound is working or not. I'm kind of excited. Oh, man, cutting off the top of my head here. I'm kind of excited that the Origins is next week, so I would really like to talk about Origin-specific stuff if possible, but anything's open. And if there's not a lot of questions, then we can just shut down early tonight. But I haven't done one of these for over a month, so I thought that I should have. I might do one after Origins, so you guys can ask questions about the things I saw. Maybe that might be an interesting idea. So, coming down, Lloyd says, I need help. I'm getting more enjoyment out of researching and collecting games than playing them. How do I turn this around? Well, you know, I think really it's kind of like miniatures gaming. Miniatures gaming has the collecting aspect, it has the game aspect, it has the painting aspect, it has the miniatures aspect. And people like different aspects. Board games has playing the board games, and then there's this whole collecting them and learning about them that there is. And I think that that's a fun thing to do. It's entertaining to go on and read about games. I think if that's like consuming you and you're not playing games, then there's problems there. And I would recommend that you just turn off the computer, go play some games. Put the iPad down, put the iPhone down, and go play some games. I'm assuming, I haven't got any comments on the channel yet or not, but oh, okay. The comment thing just changed, and I now see that there's some people watching. Fantastic. All right, so you can hear me. Great. Okay, to the next question. Dan says, are you excited about the new Ticket to Ride 10th Anniversary Edition? Well, no kidding. Yes. If I own Europe, but not the original one. What's the question there? Well, anyway, I'm assuming the question is, if I own Europe, do I need to get this one? And that's really, Europe is the wussy Ticket to Ride map. Not really. It's just, Europe is the map that it's easier to play, I think, than the other maps. I mean, it's if we went by how easy the maps are, probably Europe is the easiest, and then USA and Markland, and then after that they're all like insanely hard, or at least very interactive with the other players. I'm excited about the 10th Anniversary Edition. I'm already seeing pictures of it show up on the internet. I'm wondering if it's only out in Europe so far, but I look forward to getting a hold of it. Dan says you're planning to go to the northern, to Canada. That way I have fans there too. Well, I would love to go to Canada. The opportunity has not presented itself, even though my sister does live up there somewhere. So maybe I should get around to going up to Canada sometime. There's a lot of countries I'd love to visit that I have never been to. Okay, will we ever see a top 10 dudes in a map game? Yeah, that's one that I'm certainly thinking about doing. The problem with the top 10 dudes in a map game is there's probably only 15 of them that I think are really that good. And so if I do that with Sam and Z, we may end up having the same choices. Our next top 10 list, what did we decide that it would be? Top 10, oh, games for educational, games used in the classroom. Maybe not as funny as other top 10 lists, but I hope it's one that you can find useful. And then we'll be doing 2 top 10 lists live at Dice Tower Con. I believe we're doing, well, I'll keep them secret until then. But they should be entertaining, and hopefully those of you coming to Dice Tower Con. Speaking of Dice Tower Con, I'm really excited about the future of the con. I mean, this one sold out really well, and next year it's going to be bigger and better. And I think we have we're working on a long-range plan for it to see just how cool it can get. Who will win the World Cup? I have no idea. I'm going to go with Brazil since it's their home turf, and since there's quite a few Brazilians here in the Miami area, so I'm going to go with not the home team, but with one of the home teams. It's cool kind of living in South Florida during a World Cup time because it's something that is taken much more seriously here since we have a lot of folks from many of the countries who love the World Cup. Any word on Dead of Winters? I would love to tell you more about Dead of Winter, but I have not played it. I have not even seen it played. I'm hoping to either play it at Origins or very shortly, and once I do, I will tell everybody. What am I most excited for at Origins? You know what? This is a kind of a cop-out answer, but honestly, the thing I'm most excited about Origins is just talking to folks and seeing the folks there that I haven't seen in a while. There's a lot of publishers who I haven't talked to and seen for, you know, a good 6 months or so, and there's a lot of people that I only see at Origins. And I really like talking and hanging out with folks at Origins. One moment, please. My throat is kind of parched. This is a drink I learned to drink in Korea. Aloe. People are always like, how can you drink aloe? You're supposed to put it in your skin. Well, I do that too, but I just really started liking aloe in Korea. Now they have flavored aloe, and man, it's a good, and it's really, really healthy. Anyhow, okay, next question. What's my favorite Dice Masters team and characters? Well, honestly, my favorite Dice Masters team is one I haven't played before. I always try to put together new things. If I want to use every character if possible. I tend to lean towards my favorite characters, but I can't put them all on one team because they're very expensive. Like, I love Colossus and Thing and Hulk. I love to have like a big, strong power team. But then again, then I would have a hard time with the weaker people. Real quick aside here, if you're listening, I'm seeing some questions on YouTube, and I might get to those, but I would prefer that you send out the stuff to Twitter at the Dice Tower. Just send your questions there, and because it's the easiest way for me to do it and handle it rather than the comments on YouTube. Anyhow, that was so my favorite Dice Masters team is whatever. I'm really looking forward to all the Dice Masters stuff coming out. So probably eventually my favorite Dice Masters team will be Spider-Man and a dragon from Dungeons and Dragons and Superman, you know, from DC. I'm really looking forward to some of these new characters. This coming Monday, we're going to have another contest to guess more characters coming in the Uncanny X-Men. I've already seen them. I'm very excited about some of the characters. I can't tell you guys yet, but you'll see that contest in the Board Game Breakfast that's coming out Monday. My favorite horse racing game? Probably Horse Fever. You can't see it behind me. I think the video is just a little too low. Galaxy Trucker. So, yeah, it's anyway. Horse Fever is a really mean, nasty, silly little game, but one that I enjoy quite a bit. Has this whole cheating aspect, and it has a really cool way of running the horses. Joel says, hello, Joel. What new game are you most looking forward to checking out at Origins? Well, I don't know how many new games are coming out at Origins. I'm going to quickly open a tab here, and the Origins Game Fair. Origins has the pre-registration book available. So let me quick pull that up. And on the Origins pre-registration book, there's one of the pages tells us the new games. Now, I suspect there's more new games than are on this page. I think there's going to be more. I think that not all of them have communicated with Gamma and let them know. But let me quick find that page for you. In fact, I could even, if you guys want, I mean, since this book is here, I can look through it and possibly tell you things that I'm finding interesting or looking forward to at Origins. All right. The Desolation of Smog, Dice Masters. There will not be new Dice Masters stuff there. I did ask about that. I was hoping I could see some of the new cards, the new stuff to play with. All right, Origins Game Room, Kids Room, My Little Pony expansion, yay for you, Pathfinder, Origins Auction, Origins After Dark, Electronic Game Room. Did I miss it? There's the Origins Awards ceremony. Okay, here's the new games that are coming out at Origins. All over the board games, Don't Be a Loser. Okay, that's good life advice, I guess. Blue Orange Games, Longhorn and Armadora. Baker Street Role Playing in the World of Sherlock. The 2014 Origins poker deck, I can promise you that is the least interested thing I could possibly be interested in. Oh my goodness, come on now. Fantasy Frontier from Game One Games, maybe Ninja Dice. Kremlin from Jolly Rogers. Okay, there's one I'm interested in. I'd like to see the new Kremlin. You know, it's kind of weird because we made Nothing Personal as a replacement for Kremlin, but I still would like to see Kremlin, and has Jolly Rogers done anything with it? We'll have to wait and see. They also have Family Vacation, but I'm not nearly as interested in that as I am in Kremlin. Hot Tin Roof from Mayfair, I've already seen that. Myth. Yeah, Spurs, A Tale in the Old West from Mr. B Games. That's pretty cool. I'm really excited to see where Mr. B Games goes. A bunch of stuff from R&R Games. I'm always interested in their stuff because they might have some cool party games. But see, the thing I think I'm most looking forward to Origins is I think there's a possibility that I'm going to see, and yes, I do read the YouTube chat, but I'm going to Twitter first. But anyhow, don't despair. But anyhow, the thing I like about Origins is we get to see a lot of previews for stuff that's coming out at Gen Con. So you'll be able to see a lot of the games that will be released at Gen Con, or maybe even later than Gen Con. Origins is kind of like the first show of the summer, the chance to go see things there before any place else. All right. Let's see. Have you been to Thurman Cafe in Columbus yet? No, because most of the time when I'm at Origins, I'm pretty much working the entire time at Origins. And Mark says he looks forward to meeting me at Origins. All right. And I don't have any other question. Oh, no. When your partnership with Cool Stuff ends, who will you go with next? It's not like a yearly bidding thing. When I went with Fun Again, I planned to be with Fun Again forever. The main reason I switched from Fun Again to Cool Stuff was because of my vicinity with Cool Stuff and with the Dice Tower Convention in Orlando, etc. But Cool Stuff and I have a really strong partnership, and I see nothing in the future that makes me even want to leave them. They're wonderful to work with. They're fantastic. Not only do they have this great online game store, but their local stores are great. I go to their one in Hollywood once a month. It is just a fantastic time. So I have no plans on ever leaving them. Do I have the super cool Summoner Wars dice? No. Saddens me. Saddens me. They're so expensive. I love the custom dice, and I would love to have custom Summoner Wars dice. Anyway, my favorite faction from Summoner Wars is the Jungle Elves. Easily. And my favorite summoner, either one of those, actually. Let's see. What's the best games, asks Elliot, to introduce players to the backstabbing mechanic? And happy birthday, by the way, Elliot. The best game to introduce people to backstabbing? I don't know. That's a good question, because Lifeboat is just mean and nasty. It's like throwing people off the deep end. Probably not the best game to throw them in. The best game to introduce people to backstabbing? I'm going to have to think on that one. I'll get back. Rob says, where can I get my Shadows over Camelot pieces painted? There's lots of places online, but I'd recommend going to your local store, find some Warhammer 40k people, offer to buy them product, or to just pay them outright, and they might do it for you. That's what I would do, if you can't paint them yourself. And my... Hang on. Kristen says, any plans to come to Kineticon in July? No. I could go to a convention every week of the year, probably, if I wanted to. But I need to spend time with my family. This next week, I'm going to be gone all week for Origins. 3 weeks later, I'll be gone all week at the Dice Tower Convention. And then 3 weeks after that, or 4 weeks after that, in August, I'll be gone a week for Gen Con. And then 2 months later, I'll be gone a week in Essen. And that's super fun to go to these conventions. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, I hate going to conventions. I like it. But, A, it's expensive. Even if I can get my hotel paid for and my airplane tickets paid for, I still have to eat while there, and that can get pricey. And 2, I don't like to be away from my family. That's the main reason. I don't want to be away from them all the time. Not just my family, but my church. I'm part of the church. And so I can't be away that often. I try to be away around 4 weeks a year. And so that's Origins, Essen, Gen Con, and Dice Tower Con. And then there was minor little conventions that I might go to, but those aren't usually a week. The new website. What do I envision? The timetable? Okay, the new website is at the very beginning planning stages, but we do have it. I can tell you, I feel pretty strongly it will be done before the end of the year. I hate to give any timetable that's faster than that, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We've done a few reviews, so a lot of stuff needs to be transferred over. What do I envision? Just something that looks cool. I really can't tell you much more about it now until more of it comes together, but there is actual solid progress. I am working with some folks who are helping me out. I'm very excited about that. All right, do I have any recommendations for solo games? I get asked this a lot, so hopefully this one time will clear it up for at least... I'll probably get asked this every time I do live question and answer. I don't play solo games. I apologize. I like solo games. I guess I understand the purpose of them. I'm not trying to downgrade them at all, but for me, the number one reason I play board games is for the social interaction involved in them. I love that, and if that's not there, I've tried it. I've set games up. It's boring beyond belief. If I want to do something solo, I'll curl up in a corner with either my iPad or a computer. And I'm currently real big on Hearthstone. Although I'm not very good at it, I do beat people occasionally. I wouldn't mind playing against some of you folks in Hearthstone if you play it too. You can look me up under Dice Tower. And so maybe you can play me and add to your win list. Oh, the next question is about Hearthstone. All right. What board game is close in style and weight? You know, I don't know. Summoner Wars? Probably Summoner Wars. There's a lot of things that Hearthstone does, and as I've been playing, I'm like, that wouldn't really be possible in a physical game. Like, there's one where it says, add 2 random cards from your opponent deck to your deck. You just can't do that. That's not a possible thing to do in a physical game. Or things like how the ring becomes a card. I'm sorry, the coin becomes a card. There's just a lot of cool effects and things that it does, especially with randomization, and then it keeps track of all the numbers. So, maybe Summoner Wars. Dallin says, any tips on teaching Twilight Struggle? Well, I just taught Twilight Struggle to somebody last week. They're a big historical person, and I just walked them through it. Whenever I teach them on Twilight Struggle, I do not pull out all the stops and try to blow them apart, because an expert person will beat an amateur in Twilight Struggle every time. But what I do is, this person was a history teacher, so I knew they would love the history, so I talked about the history, I explained the historical events and this would happen, and we just walk through it slowly, a step at a time. I'll say, what do you got there? Okay, you can use that for this. Let them take moves back sometimes if they think about them. The best way to do it is just to really teach a few of the basic rules and explain it. One thing is that realignment rolls are often, after a while, you hardly ever do them because coups seem better, and placing influence is the easiest thing. So understanding the importance and the power of realignment rolls is a big deal, but that's like a more advanced thing. So I would mention that. It doesn't seem like they're useful, but they can be. King Pog says, is there a good entry-level dungeon crawl for casual gamers? Or is it a genre best avoided with new gamers? Hands down, Mice and Mystics. If you want to look for a casual version of a dungeon crawl, Mice and Mystics. Games difficult to get before selling out. Alright, if you live in the UK, what's a recommendation to get things? Because shipping is expensive. I don't really know. I lived in Korea and I had the same problem when I lived in Korea. It was expensive to get games. What I would do is when I visited Origins, I would fill my suitcases up with, I'd get my 2 suitcases and pay for an extra suitcase and bring back 3 or 4 suitcases full of games. It was the cheapest way I could find, or get together with some friends and ship them, but then you might run into customs. It's a tough thing, and I don't see any good solution to this problem unless you have a distributor who manages to get them back and forth between the countries. When is Jason getting his own show? Asked Hector. Well, right now, Jason is in Brazil. He works for a local Spanish TV station, does all their computer graphics and stuff. Does an excellent job, but that is very, he's very sought for in his field. So he's going to be gone for a month or so. He will be on Board Game Breakfast intermittently doing the question and answer with me. Will he get his own show on the thing sometime? It's possible. We never know. Xenoshift. Well, Alan tells us about Xenoshift. They just posted on the Xenoshift Kickstarter a video playthrough of me, Rodney Smith, and Steve Avery playing the game. And it's like a 2-hour video, so I don't know if you want to watch it, but they do have a little bits of clips of us talking about the game. They try to do a little bit like tabletop style. It's not I'm not trying to equate it with tabletop. It's not nearly as good as tabletop. But we had a blast playing it. And if it may look like we're really talking up for the camera, we're not. That's actually how we played even when the camera wasn't, with the exception of we were like explaining, and now I'm doing this so that you would know what we were doing. But if you get a chance, you can go watch that. And that's the best way to tell you about Xenoshift. Alan. Will Jason be at World Board Gaming Championships? Yes, and he's coming to Gen Con to help me out too. Have I played Legacy, the Testament of Duke de Clasey? Says Richie. Yes, I have, and it's very good. I've done a review on it. And am I still planning on reviewing El Grande and the expansions? Well, I don't know if I'm going to review the expansions, but I have reviewed El Grande, but it's being posted this coming week. The week before convention is always really a bit stressful for me. I make this this checklist here, and you can see here this shows all the different things that I need to do, all the games that I need to review, because I have to review games for this week and next week. So I got 20 done, so I put up 10 this week, and then I've saved 10 for next week, and El Grande is one of the 10 for next week. It's possible that I'll get a couple more reviewed up before Origins, but don't hold me to that. We also did a top 10 list is already recorded, ready to go for next week, so I'm excited about that one. It's our top 10 turkeys, games that we don't think are as good as we did when we first played them, and you might see some games in that list that you're not expecting. All right, how is the new little one getting along with Six Sisters? Oh man, they love him. Everybody loves him. He's gonna be spoiled, maybe, hopefully, not. I don't know. Kirsten says, what are a few of the least played games in your collection, and why don't you play them that much? Easy enough. 7 Ages. Let me look at my collection real briefly. 7 Ages, and that's probably the biggest one, is 7 Ages. Any game that is long, because, well, I just don't get a chance to play on. A game I haven't played for a while, which I'm really ashamed about, is Heroescape. Melody keeps saying, you know, we need to set up a big Heroescape thing and have a big Heroescape name, so we are going to. All right, any possibility of a Runebound reprint? I don't know. That's up to Fantasy Flight, and they do things based on, I mean, they're really smart, whether people want it or not. If they did Runebound, I suspect it would be Runebound 3rd edition. I'm going to guess no for now. I'm going to guess no. I might be shown wrong, and I would be pleased to be wrong on that one. Have I tried Heroes of Metro City? Let me make sure I have the name right for this one. Heroes of Metro City. Heroes of Metro City is a superpowered deck building game. And, oh, yes. Okay, I have played it. Although, oddly enough, I never did get a copy of it for review. Heroes of Metro City is an okay deck building game. It's interesting. It's some cool, but there's some really wonky things in it. There's some cards. You really have to kind of set the card. Picking 10 random decks, or however many there was a really bad idea. We picked some random stuff, and we really couldn't beat the bad guys. Not very well, anyway, and it wasn't very enjoyable to us. It's okay, and I wouldn't mind playing it again with more decks, but the first game wasn't that impressed. All right, looks like I'm caught up at Twitter. Don't forget, if you have a question, you can send it to @TheDiceTower on Twitter. All right, let's see here. I'll quick look at YouTube. Start watching Babylon 5 when I have a chance. One of the reasons people always say, why do you have so much time? Because I don't watch too much TV. Let's see. Have I played Star Realms? Yes, I have. And that's another one of the reviews that is going up next week. I'll tell you what, though. I really like Star Realms, and Melly really liked it. Sam Healy, though, I think he's going to marry the game. I taught it to him, and he played it, and he played it, and he played it. So I gave it to him because he liked it that much. Let's see. A lot of weird stuff here. This is where the Twitter list cloud. Okay. Am I going to DexCon? No, I just mentioned all the conventions I'm going to. It's Origins, Dice Tower Con, Gen Con, Essen, with a possibility of another con, but I cannot talk about that until it happens. Rune Wars, says Trenner. You gonna review it? Yes, I am. The problem is Rune Wars takes 3 to 4 hours, and it just hasn't worked out. I brought it to one gaming session, then Sam didn't go, and I really wanted this to be one that Sam and I would do together on Miami Dice. So I have it. I'm ready to play it. I would imagine over the summer the chance of us having the chance of us being able to play a game of it is very high. Maybe we'll play it at Dice Tower Con. All right, let's see if I'm back on Twitter. Woohoo! Yeah. Do you have any favorite games that are hard to get outside of a single region? Like European games I can't find in North America. Not really. Maybe, I guess if there was one glaring exception to that not really, it would be kids games. Like the 3 nominees for Spiel des Jahres are very rarely for the kids. The Kinderspiel des Jahres, they rarely come to America, and I wish they would. Other than that, I'm of the opinion that the best games from Europe somehow find their way to America. And in fact, there's a couple of them that haven't found their way to America yet, but I managed to get copies of them, and I think they might make it to America. That's just wild conjecture on my part. Why are you asking about Xenoshift? I already explained that. Okay, let's see. What are the chances for a Battlelore 2nd Edition expansion coming out soon? I don't know, but I would put money on the fact that you will see one released at Gen Con. I could be wrong, but I would not be surprised if you'll see one released at Gen Con. Alright, one moment. Guys, I'm really sorry. I don't mean to keep pausing here, but I don't need to lose my voice before Origins either. Eric says, what do you think Origins needs to do to differentiate itself positively from Gen Con? And I think that it's already done that. Origins is a lead into the summer. Origins is a gaming convention. You can game at Gen Con, but you can game at Origins. You go to Origins and game the whole time, and have an exhibition hall. It's its own unique thing. I like it. If you've been to Board Game Geek Con, it's kind of like Board Game Geek Con, except it's not all board games. There's role-playing and miniatures, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. Obviously, if you listen to the podcast, the thing I like best about Origins is the location. I like Columbus. I think that the eating options around Columbus are amazing, and so I like that. There's a lot of cool people. The Columbus group themselves is a lot of fun. You can talk to a lot of the dealers outside the dealer hall now at Origins. I think they're making some very positive steps, and they're not trying to compete with Gen Con. Gen Con advertises in their book. They work with Gen Con. They want to be the leading convention to Gen Con, and I think they're doing a good job on that. What more? Can I say any more about how Xenoshift, I'm assuming that is, plays? Well, once again, I'd like to point you to that video, but real briefly, it's like a tower defense deck building game. Although it doesn't really feel that much like deck building, because when you buy the cards, you immediately get those cards in your hand, and you will use those cards that turn. Then they get shuffled and put away, and you'll draw some new cards. But when I bought cards, I never thought, ooh, I could use this on turn 5. I thought, ooh, I could use this right now. And when you draw them in the future, you're like, woohoo, I can use them. And you fight the aliens, and they get harder and harder and harder and harder, and you really have to work hard together to get it done. Haven't beaten the game yet, but looking forward to it. What's my favorite Japan-themed game? That's kind of weird, because I've already said that I like Wallenstein better than Shogun. Samurai Swords has kind of fallen for me a bit. And I never was a big fan of that Knizia game. Was it Samurai? I'm sure I know one. I really... Japanese-themed games are cool. Okay, I don't know, but off the top of my head, I'll say Samurai Swords, the new one that just came out. That's kind of like the Bang sequel. What are the best Euro games for each mechanic, says Rob? Worker placement, area control, role selection. I'm going to save that one for my top 10 lists. Also, because it takes me a long time to do this. Marianne! Happy birthday! It's your first birthday. So you don't even know that I'm saying this, but your dad does, so happy birthday. Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Do you have any initial thoughts? It looks so awesome, Douglas. I haven't seen it yet. This is one of the games that I feel confident I will be able to play at Origins. And I will at least get some video of it for you guys. What we're doing at Origins is we're working together with Gamma to do the Origins Dice Tower Summer Preview, where different companies will come in and we will video them showing off their games, talking about their games. And I know that Ted Alsbach is going to be one of those folks, and he'll be showing off that game as well as some of the other upcoming games. His company has some pretty cool things, and that one looks great. Would I recommend getting the most recent version of Robo Rally? Well, like I said, again, if you watch the video today, I mixed them all up. I like the Amigo components better, except I like the stand-up flags from the new Wizards of the Coast. I like the English cards in the new Wizards of the Coast one. So I mix them up. Would I recommend getting it? Well, it's better than no Robo Rally. That one also says, oh, Ebor says, can you suggest a good baseball board game? I cannot. There was a little one that Out of the Box did. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Major Mike's baseball game. There was a Pizza Box Baseball. That was a pretty good one. But there's no, like, great one. Okay, I'm going to get you out of here. I know there's Stratamax Baseball, and I know there's Static Pro, and there's all these different kinds of baseball games. But they're very complex, very convoluted, and sometimes baseball doesn't need to be that in-depth. So I would probably say I'm not the best person to ask this question to. Any tips for a game collector? I already answered that. Okay. Is there a reason Dice Tower Awards aren't listed on the Board Game Geek game pages? I don't know. I would not be opposed to them being listed there. I think that's something that people can do and add themselves, and I would love if somebody would add them there and do that. A lot of companies are starting to take them very seriously. We are actually currently voting on the awards. This notebook here, and I will not open it, but it shows all the different people who, all the different votes. I manually, very carefully count out the votes for the awards. Here's a list of all the people who have voted so far. I can show you that much and keep track of who's voted. So far we've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 votes are in. And that's probably a little less than half. Some people are waiting till Origins is over. And we're going to take much of June to get together and vote on these awards. But I think you might be surprised at some of the leaders right now in the categories, but that can easily change. But I'm very excited about these. We'll be announcing them at the Dice Tower Convention this year. All right. Do I ever get responses, says Sir Ham. It's a good name, Sir Ham. From designers of games you rate poorly, like one-upmanship. Yes. I have some very negative responses in my email. I have some... from one-upmanship, he actually sent me a nice letter. It came in this big cardboard, like, official-looking thing, and I was like, oh, no. Okay, take a video of me opening this just in case. So, but it was just a letter. He was very polite and said, you know, thank you. I hope you like the next game, blah, blah, blah. I was very surprised. It was very nice of him. But it's usually negative, or sometimes I've gotten some designers who've emailed me long emails that said, this is why the game is so good, and this is why you're so dumb. This is why the game is so good, you just didn't understand it, and they'll go over point to point to point, and I really don't want to argue back and forth. I'll accept it. I'm wrong about the game. I'm sure that they're correct, you know, because they put more into it than me. What is one area of board game reviewing, podcasting, says Brett, that isn't being done that you would like to see in the future? Well, anytime I see something that's not being done, I would like to get into that if I could. You know, that's why I started the Board Game Breakfast. I didn't think there was a good weekly show. That's why we did Dice Tower Showdown. I didn't think there was a good back and forth argument show. There's one thing that we need that I'm not going to start is we need a very central source to take a look at Kickstarter games and say, are they good or not? And be totally upfront and honest about it. Because right now, every Kickstarter that I see come out, and they list like 6 or 7 reviews, and they're all overwhelmingly positive. And that's Balderdash. Balderdash just irritates me so much. That is impossible that they're all good. Because I'm playing these games, and the flip side are not nearly as good as all these reviewers said they were. And I'm not criticizing these reviewers. I'm just saying that there's no objectivity. They're all going to be positive. Of course going to be positive, because that's what the designer found. So we need like a central consumer reports type thing. We have that with reviews. Okay? I know some people say I'm all positive in my reviews, but I don't feel like we are at the Dice Tower. We go over every game, we tell you good, bad. We don't care. But with Kickstarter, if you look at the previews and the reviews, not the previews, because previews are not meant to be a review of the game, but the pre-reviews of games, the ones where they say, oh, I like it or I don't like it, are almost always, I like it. Very rarely are we seeing a lot of this Kickstarter stuff and like, it was a very good game. I wish we could see more of that, but that's a tough job. You'd have to play these prototypes all the time. It wouldn't be very fun. And so that's why I don't think we will see it, but that's what I think we should see. Where are we? Will I fulfill Sam's wish of playing Twilight Imperium 3 live? I don't think so, but I might be wrong, and I'll tell you why. I'm not sure Twilight Imperium 3 live would be interesting to watch. Maybe it would be if I didn't play, ran the cameras, pulled people out of the room, talked to them about what they thought. But there's a lot going on in Ticket to Ride, which is frankly boring to watch. I would never want to watch an 8-hour game of Twilight Imperium. Did I say Ticket to Ride? Twilight Imperium. Down says, what's the best Robo Rally to get then? I don't know. Because, like I said, I have them mixed together. So I don't know which one I'd recommend. I'd just get a hold of one of them if I could. Who's my favorite investigator to play in Eldritch Horror? Rush Limbaugh. I don't remember the guy's name. He's the old guy who can get money and send it to... He can buy items and then send those items to anybody in the whole world. I guess through courier service, whatever. We call him Rush Limbaugh because that's what he looks like. And it's good to know that Rush Limbaugh is fighting Cthulhu for us. But that's my favorite character. I cannot remember his name though. But he's my favorite, Rachel. And Rob says, is Caverna ever going to be available for purchase? It was, and it sold out instantly. It was like last month. Just boom, boom, gone. Mayfair has not had a game that was this hot for a long time, so it's probably taking a while to get these printed. If I were you, just keep an eye on it. As soon as it comes out, get a copy of it. It will be probably widely available eventually, but wow, it is taking a while to get these printed to the market. What gaming con would I recommend that someone go to, Tyler says, who's never been to a board game con before? I would recommend a small local friendly convention if you have one in your area. Like if you're in Florida, you should go to Dice Tower Con. If you are in up in the the New England area, then Total Con's a good one to go to. I heard Con is that way. Geekway to the West, and I'm probably not going to mention about 50 different cons. Dice Tower News is going to go live very soon, our website with our news. And on our news site, we're going to have a calendar where you will be able to look and see different conventions that are happening different times of the year. And hopefully that will help you out find one. If you want to go to a big convention, the one that's friendliest for new people to go to is either Board Game Geek Con or Origins. Those are very friendly. Gen Con would be very overwhelming. It's fun, but very overwhelming. Cardboard Punch-Out says, what are my feelings about the announcement of the upcoming Matt Leacock Thunderbirds board game? That's my feelings. All right. Any info on the musical episode and the video review of Rune Wars? Well, I already mentioned that. Video review of Rune Wars will come once we get the thing played. Musical episode, early drafts. I'm not even sure if the music episode's going to be video, audio, or just little pieces of... I don't know what it's going to be. But I do know there will be music. And I do know where some of it's going to happen. But we'll see. What's the best way to store all the Dominion cards with sleeves? I don't know. Sorry. Some of these I don't know. There's all these boxes for Dominion that keep going up on Kickstarter. Probably one of those. When am I going to play Blood Bowl, says Grill in the Brain? Probably never. Chaos Ball was really fun. So, I don't really see the need to play Blood Bowl. Now, I did get some like, why don't you play Blood Bowl? Here's my reasons I don't play Blood Bowl. One, big thick rule book. Okay, I know, and I could probably wrestle my way through that rule book. But two, it's out of print. And it doesn't look like it's ever going to come back in print. And three, I'm not a big fan of Games Workshop. So why should I really go out of my way to play their games? I haven't played any Games Workshop game that's blown me away yet. So, I'm sure Blood Bowl is super duper fun, but Chaos Ball is just as fun for me, so I don't know. Maybe someday I'll play it. I will never say never, but I'm not going to go out of my way. Corey B says, my buddy loves football and great components. Any recommendations? No. There's some decent football games out there. I really like First and Goal, but it's not great components. It's just a bunch of dice. Any possibility to expand the Tom, Sam, and Z show? There's a top 10 show. Any chance to create a new show? Well, Dan, I'd like to, but we are really pushing it with the number of output that we are doing now as it is. Sam and Z both teach. When they come over, it takes a couple hours. Actually, editing the top 10 video is taking longer and longer. I did something new with this upcoming top 10 video. You'll have to see. You guys will tell me if you like it when you see it next week. I think you will. But doing that new thing added a ton more editing time to the video. Some people are like repeating questions here. All right, let's see. Kristen says 12 realms on my game wish list. What I think of it, yay or nay? I haven't played it. I apologize, so I don't know. And I'm caught up on Twitter questions, so back to YouTube. Have I seen a blue player win, says the Lethal Diva. I have seen a blue player win. I believe I've won playing blue, but it's hard for me to play blue because I like to be mean as red. Especially when you add the new monsters in from Cyclades with that expansion. There's a lot of cool monsters. They add, I think, 2 for each color. Dune is the best print play I've ever seen. Okay. Is there any specific reason for Carson City falling out of your top 100? No, just room. Just room. It's probably like in the top 110 or 120. I know that Carson City was really that close. Wow, some people here are asking the same questions over and over and over again. Oh, I see. They're copying them over to Twitter. Oh, back to Twitter. Is Arcadia Quest going to be at Origins? And it is as much fun as you have said. Well, why would I lie? Is it as much fun as I said? No, I have... No. Yes, it's super fun. Is it going to be at Origins? I think Coleman or not's going to be at Origins. Let me look here. I believe I talked to him about being at Origins. I'm going to pull up the exhibitor list. Yeah, I would love to just like go through his exhibitor list and say, this is exhibitor, I can't wait to see this from them. I love looking at exhibitor lists to see who's going to be at the different conventions. All right. You know, one of these days, they're going to make a PDF reader that's fast. Well, okay, I don't know if it's going to be there or not. But if Cool Mini is there, I know they have a whole demo copy of it. So they'll be showing it off. Here's the list. Cool Mini or not is going to be there. Yes. Oh, well, they're one of the sponsors of the show. Well, then I guess they will have it there then, I'm sure. All right. Do I think Airlines Europe will ever get a reprint? I don't know. To be honest, it seems like Rio Grande just prints things randomly. So I'm not really sure. They're living off Dominion right now and all the money Dominion's made, and each year they print a couple games, and it's like, oh, okay. Will they reprint Airlines Europe? They should, but will they? Who knows? What do you think of the new Alhambra expansion of the Falconeers? Did not know there was a new Alhambra expansion. Does it fit in a big box? If it does, I wouldn't really be interested other than that. There's 20 mini expansions for Alhambra. I mean, that is so much variety. Do we need more? Do I think Fury Draco will ever be reprinted? No, I don't think so. Maybe, but I really don't think so. So, Roby, should you take the hit and pay for used copy? If you really want the game, I would say yes, because I don't think it'll be reprinted. And if it is reprinted, I'm really, really sorry for making you spend money. All right. Sorry, folks. Let's see. My YouTube comments have stopped showing off here. Let's see if I can pull them up again. Don't forget, if you're just coming on, you can send me questions at the Dice Tower on Twitter. That's the easiest way for me to get questions. They come through pretty quickly, and I can read them there. I will try to answer some on YouTube, but Twitter always has the priority in this regard. All right, did I kickstart the huge box of Escape with tons of exclusive expansion stuff? I did not. I am getting a little unhappy, I think, at the number of exclusive things that are in Kickstarter, but a little unhappy is the most I'll be, because if the game is super fun, I don't really care. I don't need to have everything for every game. I have a great version of Escape. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Knowing that someone might have a tile I don't have will not diminish my enjoyment of my game. I wish companies would not do that, but if they do, life goes on. If I had to make a board game based on a Korean dish, which would you choose and why? This is when you know we're running out of good questions. Kimchi jjigae because it's delicious. All right. Well, that was my Twitter question. Let's go back to YouTube. Conquest of Planet Earth should get another big expansion. Can I get an amen? Yes, amen. But I don't know that enough people are playing this game. And I think that's partially Flying Frog's fault. They don't push it as much as some of their other games. They put this combative game in it, which is really not that good of a game, and it's the first game you play. So Jason Levine in my play group, he plays everything. And he played the Conquest of Planet Earth and hated it playing the competitive way. And I said, the cooperative way is much, much better, but he won't play it. And he almost never refuses to play a game. I wish they wouldn't have put those rules in the book. What do you think Fantasy Flight Games will show at Origins? I don't believe Fantasy Flight Games will be there in any kind of official cat. They are not going to be there. Fantasy Flight puts all their effort into Gen Con. They most certainly do. Let's see here. Guys, I cannot keep answering questions on why things are more expensive in other countries. It's shipping. It's shipping, it's shipping, it's shipping, it's shipping, it's shipping, it's shipping, it's shipping. Stop blaming board game companies. Stop blaming everything else. It's shipping. And until gas gets cheaper and oil gets cheaper, shipping is going to be super expensive. And I feel your pain. I lived in Korea. It's a horrible thing. But there's nothing we can do about it except whine. Really, I feel for you. And it's tough, but there's nothing we can do about it. Shipping is that expensive. I promise. All right. What has been the hardest game to teach to other players? There's a lot of games that are hard to teach other players. Mamma Mia is this little card game. You'd think that'd be an easy game to teach the players, but it can be really kind of tricky. Of my favorite games, I think teaching... I like teaching games, so I don't usually, there's maybe some of the harder Euro games, I guess. I don't know. It's a good question, though. Am I excited about the X-Files game? I am, and what have I heard about it, says Alex. Well, Kevin Wilson did an interview on it, and basically he said that the X-Files game is going to be like a Descent almost, in a sense, where one person's playing the cigarette-smoking man, and everyone else has this, there's this random mission, and they have to find this thing, and it's kind of a, it looks like it's a random mission generator, and you have to find the clues to this that form like this puzzle that says the truth is out there, and then he's trying to mess you up in that regard. I don't know much more about it, except, and I'm not a big X-Files fan, I'm not big on horror, and that's what X-Files felt like to me when I watched it, but I'm still interested in this game, looking forward to trying it out. And Kevin Wilson is a fantastic designer. Have I played Notre Dame? Yes. What's my take on it? Says Dan. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Mark drew a picture of me. All right. Well, here's his picture he drew of me. He says it's a terrible sketch. Yeah, it looks more like my dad, probably. But I'm cool with that. Thank you. What do I think of the Mask series, says Tom. The Mask series is 4 games that had a big mask on the front. Java, Mexica, Tikal, and Taurus. Although I don't believe Taurus actually had the mask on the front. People considered it part of the series. I actually don't, because I feel like it's very different. Taurus is a very abstracted game. They're all abstract to some degree about building castles, and it's the only one of the series that I find okay. The other 3 I think are fantastic. Tikal, Java, and Mexica. I like Mexica about building canals around. Tikal about doing the temples is the most thematic of the 3. Java is my favorite of them, but it's fairly abstract, which is kind of weird for me. But it's so deep and just so visually stunning as you kind of build this big thing. All these games give you a certain amount of action points, like 10 or 7. I forget what the numbers are in each of the games. They're really good games. I actually don't have any of them anymore because they just never were getting played. But I think they're all quite good. Java's my favorite, then Tikal, then Mexica, and then way down there, Taurus. Do I think Arcadia Quest is better than Super Dungeon Explorer? Yes. In fact, it's going to Jones roll out Super Dungeon Explorer. When I get Arcadia Quest, Super Dungeon Explorer is gone. I like Super Dungeon Explorer, but it's mindless, and Arcadia Quest has me fighting other players. They're very different games, but I like Arcadia Quest better. And they're similar enough, at least in how they look. Yeah, they're both good games, though, but Arcadia Quest is better. How does the math trade work at Dice Tower Con? Math trades are really complicated to explain. I participate in a few. Essentially, you put some games up on this geek list on Board Game Geek, and everyone says what they want, everybody then tries to make a trade, and it's a big, long, mathematical, convoluted thing. It's not as complicated as it sounds if you follow this walkthrough thing, and then you go there and you hold up signs and you ask for it. How does it work at Dice Tower Con? I don't know, because I no longer participate in them, because I've now discovered that if I'm getting rid of games, getting more games in return is usually a bad idea. But for some people, it's a great way to trade things. Forge War, says Lloyd, is the next big thing. Have I played it? I have not. Forge War. Is this a Kickstarter? I don't know. Let's look it up. Forge War. I'm not even seeing that. Forge War. Board Game Geek. Let's go to Board Game Geek. Sorry, guys. I know that it's absolutely stunning to watch somebody surf the internet. Forge War. Well, since I'm only seeing 2 voters for it, I'm going to guess that it is not even out yet. Oh, it's on Kickstarter. Well, how could I possibly played it then? Well, okay, I guess I'm talking about Xenoshift. I try not to play Kickstarter games until after they've come out. Let's see here. What coverage of Origins will you put out? Is anyone else going with me? Did I spill milk on my table with my board game breakfast intro? Yes, I did spill milk on the table. It's okay. We cleaned it up. Besides, it's 1% milk, and I consider every drop of 1% milk that I spill out to be a boon to humanity, because this is a big marital debate that I'm having currently. 1% milk is water that's colored white. I do not know how anyone drinks it. So I never feel ashamed that I'm taking it away from my kids by pouring it on meeples. Anyway, who else is going to Origins with me? Sam Healy will be there. Matt Hosey, you might have seen him in the 24-hour gaming thing. Eric Summer will be there. Ryan Metzler will be there. Some of the guys from Board Game News will be there. The Secret Cabal guys will be there. There's actually quite a few Dice Tower folks that will be there. And what coverage of Origins? We're doing the Origins Summer Preview, so we'll have a lot of different companies. I would guess you'll see the week after Origins, I will post probably 20 to 30 videos about Origins. Yeah, that seems right. Am I excited for the new Star Trek Fleet Captain's expansion? Well, of course. Have I ever won a game of Pandemic? Well, yes. I've won many games of Pandemic. And now I'm wondering if something happened, because my video thing here is... No, I think you can still see me. Well, I can't see me anymore. Anyhow, okay, I'm sorry. I don't... Again, this is... I'm sure this has been absolutely stunning to watch. But I have won Pandemic before. It's a very fun game to play. And on the easiest setting, I'd say I could beat it 75% of the time. Probably. The next setting, I could beat it maybe 25% of the time. On the hardest setting, I've never won. Alright, will I be showing Sheriff of Nottingham at Origins or Gen Con? We will definitely be showing it off at Origins. We may have some production copies at Gen Con. Don't hold us to that, though, but it's going to be really close to being released then. It's super fun, guys. So much fun. You've got to play it. Come by at Origins. I will show it off to you guys. It is great. King Pog says, expecting my firstborn in August. As a frequent baby haver, how much will my gaming time diminish? That all depends on how you worked it out with your wife. With me and my wife, I watch the baby, you go out, she watch the baby, I can go get stuff done. It hasn't slowed me down that much. I mean, obviously it slows you down, it slows you from going on trips and things, but we take the baby with us. When the baby gets to be kind of annoying, that's when I start hiring babysitters, and then I go out and do things. I actually have built-in babysitters at this point in time, so there you go, have 7 kids. I wouldn't recommend that for most people. Okay, I'm starting to get a lot of the same questions over again. What expansion should you get if you get Memoir 44? The first expansion I would get would be the campaign book, either one of them. What do you need for Overlord mode? You can buy either the little Overload expansion or just buy 2 base sets. What Z-Man games will I be doing videos on at Origins? I do not know. I do not know if Z-Man has signed up yet, but I will talk to them and we'll see what games of theirs I'll do. What's a good game to play at a youth group church event? Depends on the number of people. Depends on the kids. I can't give you just a straight up answer to that, guys. What's in Wagers, maybe. Werewolf. It all depends on the number of kids and who's there and how you run things. What's my favorite art in a game? Do I have a favorite artist? I have 2 favorite artists. Dan May, who did much of the art for Nothing Personal, and Michael Menzel, who did many of the different boards that you see. I think he's one of the best artists in the business. Do I know anything about Asmodee changing the name of Rampage to Terror in Meeple City? I did not know that. That's interesting. Maybe they had some, maybe there was some copyright issue there. Terror in Meeple City. Rampage. Terror in Meeple City? That's like a terrible name, though, really. Because what if you don't know what a meeple is? It just seems so... No. Is that true? Huh. Let me look that up, folks, real quick, because that's kind of fascinating to me. Terror in Meeple City. I'm not seeing that. Of course, we should, as always, go to Board Game Geek, because therein is all knowledge. So Board Game Geek, let's look at the Rampage page, and let's go down and see if there's a thread on it. Blah, 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 blah. Let's look at alternate names. I don't see any alternate names. Where is your background for this? Okay. Anyhow, let's see. Oh, the live feed froze. All right, well, joyful, joyful.
What if you had a...
All right, I think it might be back. Oh, all right. Anyway, I guess I'm back. Sorry. Okay. I have no idea what the last thing I was talking about. Okay? If someone could give me a quick rundown. The last question I was answering, I'll go back and start from there. Sorry, guys. I was answering questions and I saw the live feed died. But it's back, and I'm down to 40 people. That's one way to chase out 140 people. Well, I was going to end at 9 o'clock anyway. All right, so we'll do 10 more minutes. And, oh, the 1% milk comment? That's the last thing I talked about? Whee! Wow. All right. Where's that milk question? Did I pour milk on the board? Okay, yeah, I did. Yeah, I was saying milk was... 1% milk is horrible. Okay. Origins. I was talking about Origins. And who's going with me to Origins? Ryan Metzler is going with me to Origins. Well, he'll be there. He's working with North Star, actually, but you'll see him somewhat. Eric Summerer, Sam Healy, Matt Hosey, the guys from the Dice Tower News. Some of them will be there. Elliot Miller, Reuven Fisher will be there. The Secret Cabal guys will be there. I know I'm missing somebody, but there's different folks from the Dice Tower will be at the conventions. Then, what coverage of Origins? Like I said, I'll be going around. I should have the week after Origins. My goal is to get 20 to 30 videos posted about Origins with this summer preview. So I'm looking forward to that. Am I excited for the new Star Trek fleet captains? Yes. Kirsten says, have you ever won a game of Pandemic? Many, many times. She says it can't seem to win. I would, on the easy level, I'd say I could win 75% of the time, probably. On the medium level, I win about 25% of the time, and I've never won on the hard level. It's just very difficult. Will we be showing Sheriff of Nottingham at Origins or Gen Con? Yes, I'll be showing off Sheriff of Nottingham at Origins. In fact, come by the Dice Tower Play area, ask about it. Hopefully, we'll let you demo it. We want as many people to demo it as possible. And we'll be at Gen Con. We're hoping that there might even be some production samples at Gen Con, but do not hold us to that because I do not know. But they will be out sometime around Gen Con. King Pog says, expecting my firstborn in August. How much will my gaming time diminish? Well, it doesn't have to diminish as much as people say. Having a kid is a big deal, and it certainly will change your lives. It certainly means you don't go out as much and stuff, but it's still possible. I watch the baby when my wife goes out. She watches it when I go out. As soon as we get a babysitter, we both go out. I make a point to do that often. And, of course, I have built-in babysitters, so there's your answer. Have 7 kids, and then you can go out as often as you want. And I'm going to move this down here briefly because I think that light is making everything dark in the camera. But anyhow, I know this chops off top of my head, but no one liked top of my head anyway. Let's see. Have I seen it? Okay, that's... What expansions, says Philip, should I get after Memoir 44? I would recommend highly getting the campaign books. And what does he need for Overlord mode? The Overlord expansion or another base set. What Z-Man games will I be doing videos on at Origins, says Jeff? I have no idea. Depends what they show me. What's a good game to play at a youth group church event? It all depends on the youth group, the size of people. Sometimes I use Werewolf, sometimes I use Wits and Wagers, sometimes I play a smaller game. Do you have 3 kids, 5 kids, 20 kids? What does the pastor think about different themes in games? There's a lot of different things. How old are the kids? That's just too wide of a genre to answer properly. What's my favorite art in a game? I have 2 favorite artists. Dan May, who did the art for Nothing Personal. I think it's great. We did most of the art. And Michael Menzel, who does most of the board games. If you ever looked at a board in a board game and thought, wow, that board's amazing, Michael did it. He's just amazing. Do I know anything about Asmodee changing the name of Rampage to Terror in Meeple City? While the video was down, I looked this up, and I found nothing about that. I just need to... I think it's kind of a weird name, Terror Meeple City. Most people don't even know what meeples are. Terror Meeple City doesn't sound as cool. Maybe it was a copyright thing, but I'm telling you, I found nothing on it, so I'd like to get a link on that. Alright, now there's a bunch of people telling me the video is dead. Out of the Box Production did Ninja vs. Ninja and Pirate vs. Pirate. I played both of those. I guess they need to have, what's the next one? Ninja Pirates and Robots, right? Have I played Dead of Winter? Seriously, I already answered that. Let's see. Well, I have no more questions on the Twitter feed, so I'll answer a few more from the YouTube comments, and then I'm going to shut down here. Okay. If you're not getting it, refresh the video. That should work. So anyway, Daniel says, hi Tom, I'm from Colombia. I've designed a good board game. I wonder if it's possible for my game to be released in the U.S. How? Well, if you designed a good board game, then you need to start promoting that. I would put a print and play on Board Game Geek, get people to try it out. Go to, and I always tell people this, bgdf.com, Board Game Designer Forum, bgdf.com. Lots of good ideas there. If you really want your game to be released in the U.S., then you are going to have to probably make the trouble to fly to a convention and show your game off to people at the convention. And even then, they might say no because the game might not be what they're looking for. So keep that in mind. On Twitter, what game surprised you most with how heavy it was? Lewis and Clark, he said, was a surprise to him, says Mark. Same with me. I don't know what I was expecting, but that game just blew me away with how heavy it was. I thought it would be a very light, simple game, especially with how short the rules were. Very heavy game. Rob says, how to keep gaming alive while I deal with all the changes when a baby comes. I already mentioned that. I mean, really, I just play games all the time. The baby should not run your life. It really doesn't. We put our babies on very strict schedules. We feed them, like right now, Jimmy eats at 6 o'clock, he eats at 10 o'clock, he eats at 2 o'clock, and he eats at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. He eats at those times every day. And when he's not at those times eating, we get on with our lives. We play with him and we do things with him, of course, outside of that eating, but that just saves us so much stress. It's not easy at the beginning. The baby cries. You have a soft heart. I don't anymore, but especially the first baby. But People disagree on this, but I think putting baby on a schedule will keep your sanity so alive, and that schedule becomes very useful as they get older too. My kids go to bed. They don't complain when it's time for bedtime. What do I think of the upcoming Ridley Scott film Exodus? I don't know anything about it. Have you ever played Talisman? And what do you think about it, says Alex. It's my favorite. I was going to like trash it, but then you said it's your favorite. I hate it. I just feel like it's too random, but I'm glad you like it. Any thoughts on the Flashpoint expansion? I don't know which one. I just reviewed 4 of them a couple weeks ago, so I've talked about them. If there's a new one coming out, I don't know much about it, but I'll gladly play it and try it out. And folks, with that, I think we're going to shut this down. Might do one of these the week after Origins, so I can talk about the stuff that I've seen. I really appreciate you guys coming on and watching this. Thank you so much for watching the show. I'm excited about the board game breakfast that we have coming up this coming Monday. I like putting those together. I have, like I said, I have a lot of videos that are already pre-recorded that are going up here. I'll give you guys a preview. These are the reviews you'll see next week. You will see Star Realms. You'll see the newest Ascension. You'll see Hero Brigade. Actually, that's the wrong list. Let me pull up the right list. I have different lists here. It's actually interesting. What I have here in my my office is I have all these pads. I buy these pads by the dozens, and then I'm constantly writing top 10 lists and things. Anyway, here's the reviews that are coming up this coming week: Venetia, Castle Crush, Hero Brigade, Star Realms, El Grande, the newest expansion for Ascension, Pixel Tactics 3, Age of Soccer, Incognito, and Jupiter Rescue. So those are all coming out along with our top 10 turkeys. Dan King is doing Gear and Piston. We got a couple Kickstarter previews. I heard we have a ham tag coming. So there's going to be quite a few things that you will see. We got a full video schedule this week for those of you not going to Origins. So that being said, guys, I really appreciate it. It's Saturday night here, so I'll go hang out with my family now for a bit. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower, and now I will click Stop Streaming.